Hello and welcome back to another UCL fantasy video. It's been a good while since our last one. We have not had any UCL fantasy in over a month now, and it's finally back and I'm very excited for it. We've got Matchday 7 and Matchday 8 to go left of the league stage before we head into the knockouts. Now for today's video for this week, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Obviously previously we've been doing wildcard and limitless videos separately. For me, I think Matchday 7 is going to be a week where no one really uses any chips, so I'm just doing an overall preview where I'm going to include everything. I think with so much happening in the last month, I wanted to try, shove it all into one video. If you do still like the wildcard and limitless stuff, we will still have a draft for each of those at the end of the video as well. But today, I wanted to cover injury news and stuff like that, everything that's been happening over the last month, and we're still going to have, clean sheet odds, over 2.5 goal odds, and ball recoveries and stuff like that as well. So hopefully everything you need to know will be covered in this video. Let's jump straight into it. So starting the video off, we have our fixtures for Matchday 7, the best ones and the worst ones, and if you've been keeping up with the fixtures and the videos, you know there has been a little bit of a swing in terms of the teams with the good fixtures, and the likes of Arsenal and Real Madrid, Inter Milan as well coming into a nice run of fixtures. Again, specifically in Matchday 7, they do have some really nice ones. So Arsenal are playing against Zagreb at home, Atalanta have Sturm Graz at home as well, Celtic with Young Boys at home, Inter with Sparta Prague away from home, Real Madrid really needing to start picking some wins up if they want to get a good position in the league. They are playing against Salzburg at home. Then we've got PSV and Stuttgart who are playing against Red Star and Slovan Bratislava. So if you're making transfers this week, or potentially you've got a limitless in the back to use for Matchday 7, these are the fixtures you want to be getting your players for. You want to be using your two transfers to get players from these teams. The ones you want to avoid, the worst fixtures, there is quite a few here. So we've got Lille playing against Liverpool, Salzburg against Real Madrid, Zagreb against Arsenal, teams that you probably wouldn't really have anyone from anyway. Man City and PSG are playing against each other. That is a difficult one, of course. Benfica are playing against Barcelona at home. Leverkusen are playing against Atletico Madrid, so that's another one that do have a lot of players. Atletico had the really nice fixture last week, or last month it is now, last match day. Leverkusen obviously very popular with so many having Wirtz, Grimaldo and Frimpong. They have difficult fixtures in Matchday 7. Then we've got Girona who have Milan away from home, and Feyenoord are playing against Bayern Munich. As we look to the remainder of the group stage as well, these are the teams with decent enough fixtures for Matchday 7 and Matchday 8. So if you're like myself and you don't have any chips left over, these are the teams that we want to be looking to target. Obviously two transfers to use, and if you're going to be up against a lot of people that do have the limitless chip left over for Matchday 8, and you don't want to find yourself with a lot of fixtures that aren't too great in Matchday 8. So you want to be using these two transfers this week to try and make sure you're getting players in that have a nice fixture this week, but more importantly have a nice fixture next week as well. And there is a good few that do have both, which is very useful if you don't have a chip remaining. So the likes of Arsenal, Zagreb at home, a really good fixture this week. They've also got Girona away for the last game of the league stage. What you do have to keep in mind though is the teams that could potentially automatically qualify. I don't think too many people are going to be resting too many players, because I think the top 8, I believe, is about 16 points you need to get in order to guarantee yourself the top 8. It's roughly something like that after looking at like simulations and stuff, and I think it's going to be very difficult for most teams to automatically qualify for the 8th match. So I think you are going to see a lot of, or not too much rotation in match day, which is good. Bayern are a big one as well. They've got a fairly difficult fixture against Feyenoord away. It's not the worst fixture in the world. I wouldn't say don't buy any Bayern players, because obviously it is still a game you would expect Bayern Munich to win. But Matchday 8 is where you absolutely need that Bayern triple up against Slovan Bratislava at home. Now again, could potentially be a game where there is rotation. The likes of Thomas Muller could come in. I can't remember who the striker is. Is it Till or something like that? I forgot what his name is. He could potentially come in over the likes of Harry Kane. So there is definitely potential for some sort of rotation, but you don't want to bank on that. I think it's still a smart move to try and get Bayern players in. So if you've only got one or maybe even zero Bayern players, try and get at least one, maybe two of them in for this week. And make sure you are, setting yourself up nicely for match day 8. Dortmund have a decent run as well. They've got Bologna away from home and Shakhtar at home. They've been a big part of my league stage in my team because I've had them. I think I had them for the first 5 match days. But they have been a little bit poor. The form hasn't been great with them under Nuri Sahin, and there is talks of him potentially getting sacked. So it is just something to keep an eye on. Maybe not, jump right on all the Dortmund players, but they definitely do have some decent fixtures. I think Adeyemi's been coming off the bench now recently as well, so that's something to keep an eye on because he's a nice cheap player to have, and he's down as a midfielder. Liverpool, of course, everyone should have Mo Salah for the last 2 games, and probably a defender in there as well. Trent, Van Dijk are going to be your main 2. Kanate isn't really worth it. He's only 0.4 less than both of those guys, so I'd rather just go for, the proven players in Van Dijk and Trent at the premium prices. AC Milan playing against Girona and Zagreb, 2 really nice fixtures as well. The same with Inter Milan, Sparta Prague and Monaco. Over on the other side, we've got Sporting Lisbon. Again, the likes of Gyökeres could be a really nice option. They've got Leipzig, who are already eliminated, and Bologna at home in match day 8. For Aston Villa, a nice fixture against Monaco away from home, and then Celtic at home in the final match day. Celtic, Young Boys at home, Aston Villa away. Barcelona, Benfica away, and Atalanta at home. Juventus with Bruges away, Benfica at home, and then finally Real Madrid with Salzburg at home and Brest away from home in match day 8. Now, unfortunately, as there has been such a long time between matchday 6 and matchday 7, there is going to be some injury worries that a lot of people are going to have. Now, to be fair, it's not actually as bad as I thought it would be in terms of, important ones. There's really only about 7 players here that, could be owned by a fair amount of the community. In terms of the actual worldwide ownership, is not that bad in general. But Dani Olmo picked up a calf injury over the weekend, and he is ruled out for the game this week. I believe it said that his recoveries or his estimated time back is going to depend on how his recovery goes. So you've got to remember there's a very quick turnaround as well between match day 7 and match day 8. So match day 7 is going to be this Tuesday and Wednesday, and match day 8 is next Tuesday and Wednesday. So any injuries at this point probably are going to miss match day 7 and 8 before we get the unlimited transfers for the knockout stages. So probably a good move to move on from Dani Olmo, especially the fact that he is ruled out for this game. Bukayo Saka, if you play FPL, he's been out for a while. Hamstring injury. He's ruled out for this game of the week during the week as well. Saliba picked up a hamstring injury, missed the game at the weekend. It was very last minute. And then Arteta came out and said in a press conference that they were very worried about the injury. So for me, I think that basically rules him out of this week's game as well during the week against Zagreb. 27% ownership on him, so 1 in 4 people are owning Saliba. If you own Saka and Saliba as your Arsenal triple up, that's your 2 transfers already locked in there. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, he is out with a calf injury, once again ruled out of this match. I think he was back for a little bit, and then I think I had another training injury and something happened with that. Looks like he's going to be out for another couple of weeks. I think he was supposed to be due back for this week and something happened in training, and now he is ruled out for this game. Christian Pulisic picked up an injury a couple of weeks ago. I think he's been back since then and then picked up another injury. As it looks right now, he's in individual training, and it's going to be a very last minute thing to whether he plays or not. So again, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's just below my face right here. Make sure you go follow me on that because, Monday, Tuesday, I just post every single team news thing that comes out announcement wise, whether it's predicted lineups or injury news. It all gets posted as soon as it comes out. So, going to keep a big eye on Pulisic because he's definitely on my mind for transfers. Ousmane Dembele, 2% owned. He's out with a virus. I think he's missed his last 2 games, but he is expected back for during the week. So anyone with Dembele, I don't really think you have to worry too much about that. I don't think that's going to be that serious. Marquinhos as well has been out for a couple of weeks. I think it was an abductor injury for him. He is back in individual training. He has a bit of a doubt for the week during the week, but again, another one where he could easily make that starting 11. So just keep an eye on expected lineups. So with the ball recoveries this week, we once again have our top 10 list, which has changed a little bit, mainly the bottom half. I think our top half is roughly the same. We do have Pacho with 62 ball recoveries now. I picked him up in matchday 6 on the wild card, and I think he got about 12 more ball recoveries, 11 or 12 more ball recoveries. He's easily at the number 1 spot. You know, a very cheap midfielder, a very cheap defender, sorry. Only 4.7 million for PSG, and he's picking up, you know, 5 points per match, 6 points per match, depending on how many ball recoveries go. But you're talking an extra 3-4 points. If you add a clean sheet on top of that, it's a big haul from the likes of him. We've got Alexandro, he's second with 53 ball recoveries total. You've got to remember there's only been 6 matches, so the likes of Pacho has over 10 ball recoveries per match. Alexandra also picked up in my matchday 6 wildcard. He plays for Lille. They're obviously up against Liverpool this week, so it's a bit more of a struggle for him, but second for ball recoveries. You've got a Stuttgart defender as well in Rualt at 4.7 mil. He has 45 ball recoveries. Spajic for Red Star, and 4 million defender. If you're looking for someone really cheap who is going to continue to get some points, he's also joint third for ball recoveries. We've obviously got Kim, he's 5.1 million, a very popular player that most people do own. Again, when we're talking about the Bayern triple ups, he's probably one of the best ones you can get, definitely the best defender in my opinion. Bedu from Salzburg on 44, Marquinhos, obviously a doubt for this week, but he's on 43, joint with Nicolas Otamendi, Hein, and Troner from Feyenoord, they're all on 43 as well. So these are the lists. If you're looking for players for ball recoveries, I think every single one of them is defenders, so you're not really going to get anyone further up the pitch with goal threat as well. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. Most of them are cheap as well, so it's good to keep in mind for any enablers that you might be looking for. Now, clean sheet odds for this week, we have a nice amount of premium defences in here with good clean sheet odds for a change. Arsenal at number 1 with 59% for keeping a clean sheet against Zagreb. Real Madrid up against Salzburg at home, they have a 57% chance of a clean sheet. Atalanta, they have a 50% chance of a clean sheet. Inter Milan against Sparta Prague, 44% chance. AC Milan, a 43% chance. Stuttgart, 41. Liverpool, 41. You can see the rest by yourself, but obviously when it comes to picking defenders and trying to pick your best defence, you want to be getting mainly defenders from the green zones. You know, you want at least one Arsenal defender. You probably want a Real Madrid defender in there if you can get one. My pick would probably be Rudiger. Atalanta, there's lots of good cheap options. The goalkeeper in Kernasecci at 4.5 million, really good pick. Bellanova, I think he's only 4.3 million. Right wing back, gets assists, picks up assists. A 50% chance of a clean sheet as well. He could be a really nice enabler pick this week. Obviously, Inter Milan, one of the strongest defences in world football as well. So maybe if you do have a limitless this week, someone like Jan Sommer in goals, it could be a nice pick. But again, just stuff that you really do have to consider when picking defences. And for attacks and midfields, this is what you want to be looking at. The teams most likely to score 2 or more goals, 3 goals in each match. Real Madrid, a 64% chance of scoring 2.5 or more against Salzburg at home. So again, looking at this, you definitely want to be getting in a Real Madrid attacker. Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., they're going to be your main 2 threats. Arsenal, a 57% chance of scoring 2.5 or more. Obviously, Bukayo Saka's out. He is, you know, probably the main goal threat for Arsenal. If you're looking elsewhere, Jesus just picked up an injury, so probably Kai Havertz is going to be the best one. If you want a midfielder, Trossard and Martinelli are the 2 that are starting right now, so definitely keep an eye on those guys. For Atalanta, you've got a popular pick in Ademola Lookman. He's only 6.5 million in midfield. You've got the likes of Retegui, Deketelari, I want to say his name is, picked up a big haul in matchday 6. You know, some more options for you if you're looking for Atalanta attackers. Liverpool, of course, Salah is going to be your main one there. He's going to be everyone's captain as well on the first day, unless you want to go bold. Stuttgart, Celtic, 2 teams that don't really have lots of attackers available. Stuttgart more specifically, I think Milo's probably your best option in midfield. For Celtic, you've obviously got Nicholas Kuhn, Daisen Maeda, both down as midfielders. Kuhn being a great enabler since the start, the cheapest midfielder in the game. So again, you can take an eye on this, take a screenshot, do whatever you like, but just keep an eye on this when it comes to picking your attacking transfers. So if I did have a limitless chip available, this is the team I think is probably the best team you can get for match day 7. I think a lot of people are going to struggle this week with having a lot of players playing on the first day, because a lot of your big teams with the easy fixtures are playing on day 2, which isn't ideal. So I've tried to mix it up as much as possible, trying to get at least half and half with this team. But again, a really nice mix of players. Salah, we've got Van Dijk in there as well for the double. Liverpool, we've got the double Atalanta and Bellanova and Lookman. We are covering off the Real Madrid attack with Vinicius Jr. The only thing I don't have in here that I could regret is an Arsenal attacker. But for me, I don't think there's anyone that stands out too much. I think Martinelli and Trossard could be good, but I don't think they're better than the ones I've got here. Obviously, the likes of Havertz up front, you only get 3 striker spots. Lewandowski, Vinicius Jr., Guirassy, who's been very consistent in the Champions League, I think just have higher ceilings than Kai Havertz does. So that is why I've left out the Arsenal attacker. I have still covered off the defence with Gabriel in there though, which is, I think, more than enough. I don't think you need to double up on Arsenal. You definitely could. They are the best for the clean sheet odds this week. But we've also got Kim in there. We've got Pacho in there for the ball recoveries. Pacho doesn't have a great fixture in Man City, so I'm not expecting a clean sheet, but I still expect him to score 5, 6, maybe even 7 points, depending on how his ball recoveries go. And at that point you don't even need the clean sheet, because you're essentially covering it off with the ball recoveries. And as I mentioned with the dates, as you can see, I have a lot of these players are in here because they do play on the first day. Arsenal are playing on the second day, which wasn't ideal, trying to pick we've been saying it the entire season, you want to pick players playing in the first day because you don't want to be left with lots of players on the bench because everyone in your first day is returned. So it's better to have more players and more gambles playing in the first day, because then if it doesn't work out, you can take them off for your bench players. I feel like you probably know this by now, if we are 7 match days in. But we've picked Guirassy, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Salah, Lookman, Van Dijk, Bellanova and Carnesecchi. So that's 8 players playing on day 1. As I said, I think a lot of people are going to struggle to get a lot of day 1 players in here. For me personally, I've got my 2 transfers and they both have to go on day 1 players, because I filled my team up with a lot that are on day 2 when I done my wild card in match day 6. But like I said, Bellanova, a really nice pick. Lookman, a really nice pick. Even on Limitless, they are cheap enough, not that really matters, but they're still good enough to be in that Limitless team. We've got Christian Pulisic in there for now. Again, big doubts on whether he plays, but I think if he does, it's a good one to pick. If you aren't too sure on him, then I would probably just swap him out and go for someone else. And again, you can go for a day 1 player rather than Pulisic on day 2. When it comes to the goalkeepers, obviously we previously had our clean sheet odds up. I wanted to pick Sommer. I think Inter were sitting 4th for clean sheet odds this week and obviously are really, really good defensively. Unfortunately, he played the same day as Raya, so that wasn't great. And obviously, Real Madrid are playing on day 2 as well. So when it comes to Raya and Courtois, they weren't really options. Again, you could easily go for them over Sommer if you wanted to. Then I've gone for Carnesecchi because I think Atalanta were right up there as well. I think Atalanta were actually 3rd. Yeah, so Atalanta were a 50% chance of a clean sheet. So I've opted for their goalkeeper in the first day, just purely on the clean sheet odds this week, because really all you need from your goalkeeper is picking up a clean sheet. Now Musiala was another one that I picked in this squad. He has missed out of the Bayern starting 11 in the last couple of matches, but according to Bayern in Germany, a Twitter account that is very, very good for Bayern Munich news when it comes to the Champions League, is fully expecting Musiala to come back into the starting 11. I think Müller has been playing there in the attacking midfield spot for the last few weeks, but Musiala is expected to come back in for the Champions League. You could always go for Elise, who's obviously been on red hot form as well, but if you're using the Limitless, I think you want to be utilising that budget as much as possible. Now the wildcard team is just a little bit different, not really too many changes. It's just trying to go for the cheaper options over the premiums that we picked for the Limitless team. So again, you can see Elise in there over Musiala. You're saving about 2 million on him, is a fair enough way to go for a wildcard team. We've got the same front 3, we've got Vinicius, Guirassy and Lewandowski. Again, with the Limitless, with the wild card, you want to be trying to, focus on the next game as well with match day 8 coming up. Lewandowski does have Atalanta, the same with Rafinha, so you could always just go for the one Barca player if you wanted to. Harry Kane's a good one to bring in, but he does have Feyenoord away, which isn't a great fixture, and he does play on day 2. So trying to get players in that have a good day 1 fixture and still have a decent fixture in match day 8 has been a little bit of a struggle. I've got Nicholas Cunha in there covering off the Celtic attack with the young boys at home fixture. Again, he's basically been in every single wildcard team that I have made so far this season. He's only 4.8 million now. He was 4.5 obviously at the start of the season. In the back line, we've got the triple up completing the triple up for the Liverpool squad against Lille at home. We have Van Dijk and we have Trent Alexander-Arnold. Again, they're really good for clean sheet odds. Trent and Van Dijk, both premium defenders, so if you wanted to save some budget, you obviously don't have to have both of them. But I kind of wanted to mix it up a little bit from the Limitless team. I didn't want to have the exact same teams. Pacho's still there, Kim's still there for the ball recoveries. We've got Timber in there, who's only 4.4 million, so a really good alternative to someone like Gabriel if you want to cover off the Arsenal defence. Then in goals, we've obviously got Carnesecchi, who we've already spoke about for Atalanta, and we've got Israel, who is the Sporting goalkeeper who plays on opposite days to Carnesecchi. And I think it's Sporting that have a good fixture in match day 8. I think they play Bologna at home. So he's really good. And he's only 4 million as well. He did get dropped at the weekend, but he has been playing all of Sporting's other games, so I'm hoping him getting dropped doesn't really mean much. I haven't seen any information as to why he get dropped, so if you do know, or if you watch Sporting regularly, let me know down in the comments. But I think with that, I've basically covered off everything. That would be my wildcard team. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments section. So I'm going to have my team selection video out tomorrow morning. It's going to have my transfers and transfer plans, and obviously plans for match day as well. So make sure you subscribe if you do enjoy, and if you want to keep an eye out for that video. Make sure you leave a like as well. Hopefully you have a good match day 7 and we can all start climbing up our ranks. Hopefully your transfers go well as well, and I'll see you all tomorrow for my match day 7 team selection.